Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 12:02, January the 18th, 2014, here at the Laredo City Hall, first floor conference room. I'm calling to order the City of Laredo Economic Development Committee meeting. Do we move on to the roll call? He does that.
Rene Gonzalez,
He's online.
Rene Gonzalez, can you hear us, Ms. Carol?
She's talking, but we cannot hear her.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Ms. Carol, can you unmute yourself? Can you hear us?
There you go.
Okay, we're gonna proceed with the roll call. Rene Gonzalez, Iran Arguindegui, Cesar Garay,
Present.
Arturo Dominguez,
Present.
Ray Rocha.
He was his last meeting.
Yeah. Carol Alexander,
Here, virtually.
Fernando Baldazo,
Present.
Julian Rosnowski, and he did acknowledge that he was gonna be running late today. And Mayra Hernandez. Rene Gonzalez, you're on mute.
Could you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
No.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ms. Alexander. We just need to acknowledge Rene Gonzalez as present.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh.
She cannot hear us. She cannot hear us.
That's why Rene is not. Can you hear us, Ms. Alexander?
Okay.
Renee, unmute yourself.
We need you, Rene.
We need you. Maybe one more. Quería ir.
Rene, can you hear us?
I'm not connected.
Or we can proceed with the agenda, with the two members that are connected online, we do meet quorum.
Okay.
And we'll wait for Mr. Gonzalez to
Okay, let
acknowledge.
the record show that the quorum of the committee members is present, that the meeting is duly called, and that the notice of the meeting was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any citizens' comments?
We didn't receive any citizens' comments by the deadline, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. Motion to approve.
Aye.
Motion by Mr. Garay.
Do we have any second for the
Second.
approval of the minutes?
Second?
Second by Mr. Baldazo.
And Mr. Chairman, may we recognize Mayra Hernandez?
Yes. Let the record show that Mayra Hernandez is here.
Hazel cannot hear us.
Can you reconnect, Hazel?
Yeah, because I think it might be on his end because Ms. Alexander can hear us.
But she's connected.
I'm texting him.
So thank God we have the record. We have a forum
We do
now.
have one.
Yes. Second by Mr. Baldazo. Any comments? Motion to approve? Aye. Yes, nay, no?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes?
I think there was already a motion and a second by Cesar and Mr.
Está
Baldazo.
nomás. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Action item. Discussion and possible action regarding the downtown summit schedule for mid-March 2024 by Mr. Rafnowski.
We're
Yes.
gonna, we pass on that until he comes in, right? Or,
I can give you just a very brief rundown on what we're trying to accomplish, and then if Mr. Radnowski joins us later, he can further elaborate as to what his vision is or for the committee. But pretty much, as you all know, the downtown revitalization has been one of the projects that has been assigned under our department, and it is our hope that we can get this committee involved as well. We're looking at conducting a two to 3 day workshop / summit where we can get the stakeholders and people that are heavily involved in downtown revitalization involved, property owners, business owners, with a series of workshops and presentations on current and future projects that are planned for downtown by the different departments of the city of Laredo. And we're really, some of the conversations that have been held, we're really putting together the structure on the summit and getting to finalize how the program will look like. But it is my understanding that the chairman wanted to give the committee a more, I guess, solid update.
Summit is inviting everybody.
Right now, the structure that we're looking at, some of the components of the summit will be precisely open to the business community, the people that are really engaged in downtown. We're looking at different options as far as sit-down working, roundtable working sessions. And again, this is really in the planning stages. We will be glad to share more details as developments become available for the program.
So what's the difference between a workshop and a summit?
So yes, and those are some of the things that we are contemplating, what part of this program will be a workshop to where we're gonna have targeted, entities that are involved in downtown redevelopment, and that'll be the component of the workshop. Summit will be all those presentations that are being provided to stakeholders, and, more components may be added as well. The agenda is in a very preliminary draft mode, but yes, I will defer to Mr. Julian when he gets back and when he shows up to the meeting so that we can further, elaborate and discuss.
So how I would describe a workshop would be more of a training and informative of what that training is supposed to be. So it's more professional development. A summit is really bringing stakeholders together to develop a common goal, then you develop your policies, procedures, law, litigation, action plans, so you can establish the end results of what the stakeholders want to do.
In this case, I think the workshop component of the program, it's precisely putting together the vision, the plan, having workshops so that we can put together a common vision for, based on the feedback by the stakeholders. The training, I think, the presentations will be more on the summit side, having presentations for those people that are engaged in downtown revitalization.
But so there's no agenda yet designed on.
No confirmed agenda. We're putting it together. We're looking at what entities, even considering bringing an organization that is specialized and that has conducted this type of activities in other cities. So.
Yeah, when Julian comes in, he'll give us more detail on what is
I
planned.
know it's mid-March.
Yeah, it's.
For
2
summit,
months.
that's
Yeah.
already, should have already had speakers for mid-March at least. The way I work in my head, I guess, putting it.
He probably already has. It's out.
Can we acknowledge Mr. Jaime Gonzalez as being present?
Let the record show that Mr. Jaime Gonzalez is here. Buenas tardes. Moving on, presentation items.
But I have a question too. So the objective will be to how to bring more people into downtown, or how to create more events into downtown, or what will be the objective of the summit and the workshops? Or to get tax incentives? What are the objectives?
One of the objectives of this particular program, and aside from obviously the workshop component and training sessions and sharing of initiatives, aside from that, I think it's also public outreach, letting those stakeholders or individuals and associations engaged in downtown revitalization, let them know about the projects that the city has, is working on, future projects, incentive programs. I think like NEC, the NEC program is one of the incentive programs that even this particular committee worked for several months in updating. We feel that there needs to be public outreach as well to let the people know about the available incentives that are out there. But particularly with the recent vacant building inventory and study that was conducted, it's pretty much aligning the current programs that the city has with the challenges that downtown have, and spreading the word and letting those stakeholders know about, the different venues that are available.
What's one of the projects that they have for downtown?
And that's precisely, it's not necessarily that we're gonna present projects, but the different departments, we're putting together that,
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to give you a list of projects
Okay.
right now, because as you know, there are different departments involved, whether it's public works,
So during the
utilities.
workshop and the summit, then different departments are gonna be presenting possible projects for downtown.
Current and possible, that's the
Okay.
idea, to let people know. And also, there's a lot being said as well about the importance of public outreach with the church, downtown church. They're working on some very good projects, and we wanna use this particular event to let downtown business owners and property owners about the projects that the church is working on. And how the church, the possible benefits and positive impact that their projects will have in the downtown area.
Is this the first of its kind, or has anything like this?
I don't think the city has conducted one before. And, we're just trying to. put
Technically a
together
conference, you're
Yeah.
setting like a conference, you need to set up your theme, your meals, logistics, for your stakeholders, for your speakers, breakout sessions, so it's a beast of a project.
They mentioned at the meeting led by Councilwoman Ciudad Roa, that they were trying to bring a keynote person to discuss what they've done in other cities.
I think there was a small scale summit, I think they called it summit or something like that, wasn't there one a few years ago? I remember they hosted a La Posada, maybe it was a housing project or something like that.
I
not
think,
necessarily
I think the
this,
project
but
that
it was
the,
like
yeah, it was by the Laredo
low-income
Housing,
or-
by the Laredo Housing Authority, I believe. And I think that was more focused on housing.
cost of living and
cost of
housing,
living.
affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Anybody else has a question?
So that this project is designated to economic development, there's gonna be, I guess, a task force or a committee or somebody that's gonna help.
There has been a group already that has, including our chairman, Mr. Julian, and some other volunteers that started and spurred this idea of putting this program together. And yes, if any one of you would like to participate,
And it's
let
only
us know.
for local stakeholders, or is it's gonna be open to anyone in the country that wants to come?
At this moment, it is targeted to local. There's people and there's property owners that are, live out of state but yeah, at this moment, the intention is to keep it at the local level, again, as a way of conducting public outreach and engagement with local stakeholders and associations.
Just moving on, presentation items. You want to say something? Carl?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, I thought you raised up your hand.
Is someone addressing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I thought you had raised your hand. Sorry.
Well, I in my head, I was raising my hand, but yes.
Well, you did.
He reads minds.
Eso sí. Entonces pensé que-
This is my first meeting.
Welcome.
Thank you all for having me. I'm really looking forward to being a member of this. I'm sorry, but the heat is on in my office and it's really loud. So I'm part of any economic development group should either recognize or to agree or disagree, I guess, with the reality that is downtown revitalization connected to not just the social component of a city, the cultural component of a city, but absolutely the economic opportunity that density that is connected to downtown areas offers to the city by way of course, revenues to the general fund. And also it's an opportunity when you're selling your city to bring more employers here, more employees here. When you provide a cultural and social aspect that's unique or positive, that is something to offer to the world, right? That any other city doesn't offer. Our city is unique in many ways, but the uniqueness begins downtown. And so these are not my ideas, right? These have been proven across the world in redeveloped downtowns to the tunes of many millions of dollars that any community reaps the benefits of redeveloping their downtown, and our opportunities is upon us. So I don't know what this summit is, but I'm really excited to get started on redeveloping our downtown and connected to this economic development committee.
Normally, when we go out of town, that's the first things that we go visit is the downtown. And it'll indicate to us what the city's gonna look like. And it's basically our living room of the city, the downtown area, so that's what it is, that's what we have right now. Basically.
So more information will be shared as it becomes available
Así
as
es.
the program
That way
develops.
that Mr. Julian wants it.
Mhm.
Listos, presentation
I
items?
invite all of you to the charter meetings that happen. I mean, if you're interested in what's happening, I mean, it's a small piece of what needs to happen, but at least it is happening. Something's happening and moving forward. And those meetings are online. They're on the city website, right? You can watch them, or you can show up. They're on Tuesdays at City Hall. Once a month.
Thank you. Update on City of Laredo and Lit.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, we just wanted to,
Budget.
oh, and Julian is here, I don't know.
Hey, Julian.
Can we
Hi,
acknowledge
Julian.
Chairman Julian?
Let the record show that Mr. Rafnowski is in the house.
With presentation items, we just wanted to give a very brief update on the two small business, the interest buy-down loan program and the grant program. We gave you a copy, and it's a draft of what the program will look like. As you know, the Economic Development Department at the City of Laredo has engaged in this program for the last 2 and 3 years. We are getting ready. And just this morning, we received some reviews that need to be made and reviewed by our department and city manager's office and legal department. But we did want to give you a draft. I know at one of the meetings you were interested in looking at the scoring system. And please know that a lot of this program and these guidelines are put together with the guidance of Lifan, which is the lending company that was awarded for this bid to provide the administrative services. And this is pretty much the guidelines that they also follow and recommend. As you all know, this is through the funding that's available through ARPA funding, federal fund. And we do have some, we do need to follow the restrictions that are established in the use of these funds. So in a very nutshell, the interest buy-down loan program, it's gonna be, the city will be buying and the interest on these loans. Small businesses that have been affected or that continue to reflect decrease in revenues will be able to apply for up to $50,000 a loan. The city will be buying the interest on those loans, and these two programs have been very successful in the last 2 to 3 years. And you also have a copy of the guidelines for the small business grant program. For this one in particular, this is a grant program. We're hoping that we can divide it and allocate $90,000 per zip code, just so that we can be able to reach every business in every zip code in Laredo. I will tell you that in the past it has been a challenge because, as you all know, some zip codes have more commercial activity than others. But we're gonna be working very closely with the service provider to make sure that we promote it the right way, and that we host the events that are needed to be hosted, so that we can have a good public outreach.
And these are grant paybacks, not deferred.
These are
These are
grants,
loans,
so there's two
loans.
different programs, the interest, the buy-down program, yes, the business owner will need to pay back the principal, but the city will commit to buying the interest, yes. And as you can see on the draft, just a brief example, if there's a $15,000 loan approved, once they go through the process through the lending company, the city it can total up to $3,000 that the business will be saving on the loan by the city purchasing the interest in that particular loan.
But the individuals still make the payment on the interest and then they get it back, or
They just
they just pay the
Yes, we
straight
pay the lending company the interest,
on each note.
yes, on each loan.
So it's basically an interest-free loan.
It's a 0% loan program.
So recommended for the city.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, I have a bunch of questions.
Anthony?
Okay.
You have the floor.
You require documents. I see that you require more documents than the federal programs or the state programs. To give you an example, the business financials, you require 3 years, as the federal plans only require the last year, which will be in 2019, to prove that your business was in business prior to COVID, right? Okay. So you need 3 years, 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Right.
Okay.
Because COVID began, I guess it ended, so you'd have to use each year to see how you raise, I imagine.
And it's a year, I guess, for 2021, that will really mean, for 20, yes, exactly, yes. So it's just, it can be a combination of, there's businesses that may be required, their financial documents, such as bank statements, as proof of. But yes, these are some of the recommendations that the lending company is suggesting.
Okay.
And it's just to prove the loss in revenues from one year to the next. And you're more than welcome to jump
Yeah,
in.
because this is based on revenues lost and now you're creeping. So they have to create the pattern.
But you were okay 2019, and then
Yeah, the house
COVID,
is.
yeah.
And then 2021, you still went down or you stayed flat on
Probably
2020.
has to reflect it.
You would use 2019 as your base
Right.
pre-COVID, and then they'd say, okay, well, you're back at, you're in 2021, you're back at 2019 numbers, you're not suffering. And then 2020, in other words, you have to create the pattern of of loss.
And I understand the concern of, adding 2019 as a, I understand the.
No, I understand in 2019, it just means you were in business prior to COVID. That one I completely understand.
And as the base total revenue,
To
to
base
be
their
able
loss.
to compare it to the following years.
Okay, so the compensation will be based on total revenue loss?
No, that's
No.
just that's just verifying that the business was affected. It doesn't carry any weight on the scoring system, it doesn't carry any, it's just a requirement by the federal government, because these funds can only be used for businesses that can prove that there was some sort of a negative impact in their business due to the pandemic. But this doesn't carry any weight on the scoring system.
The difference would be a legitimate need based on COVID and the reaction.
Okay. And it says proposed run timeline, I'm sure that's gonna be moved, right?
We will be adjusting these dates. As of right now, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at.
So it starts tomorrow?
No.
Okay, because it says January 19th.
Well, that's just finalizing the contract,
Oh,
and that was our original target date.
okay.
But this morning, as I mentioned, there are some things that we need to further evaluate. But at this point, we're still looking at opening the applications
On
March
March.
1st.
So
Okay.
this timeline's fluid and then beginning March 1st.
Yes, that's our targeted
Proposed
dates,
target.
yes.
Very good.
Come on, Mr. Ellis.
Pues ahorita es todo.
Yo ni digo mucho. Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, sir.
The lip fund? No? And we move on? Moving on, update on the City of Laredo College Workforce Development Program.
Yes, we wanted to extend an invitation. We are gonna be conducting our press conference for the third partnership with Laredo College, offering workforce development and certification classes. We will be sending you a complete list of what these programs will be, and it will be great if some of you can join us at this announcement.
When is it?
It's gonna be Tuesday at 10.
Any
And this is the
questions?
third time that the city partners with Laredo College, and this is the third time as well that Laredo College matches the funding for this program. Each entity committed to $750,000
That's what the city's gonna put, 750,000?
through ARPA funding as well.
But it's federal funding.
It's federal
Federal
funding,
funding that's
yes.
still available,
Yes.
but it has not been spent
That has been recently allocated to our department,
for the,
yes.
You had given them like $1 million, no?
Yes, the last
Design.
program, it was $1 million each. At this point, it was, Laredo College could commit to only 750, and that's what the city agreed to commit as well.
So it's a city,
And Laredo College, and we're having a component of collaboration with the South Texas Workforce Solutions
they're
as
putting
well.
700.
Not in a monetary way, but they will be providing additional support to those individuals that register for the programs in different ways, whether reimbursement for gas and transportation, daycare services, and some other programs that they will be making available.
For the need individuals to the
Yes.
program.
Mhm.
So when does this third program start?
The first classes, I believe they will be starting in March, if I'm not mistaken, or April. The college continues to put together the exact programs because not all of them will start at the same time. There's different programs in different areas that will start in different semesters. As soon as we have the schedule, we will share that with you as well.
And I'm sure that what's being offered has changed since it first started, right? I mean, I'm sure it's something that the college
We made
is
some
still-
modifications, as you all know, transportation has always been in the CDL truck driving program has been one of the most popular ones. So we made some modifications on the number of individuals per program and per classes. We did add 2 or 3 in the medical field. One of the certification programs that we requested for LC to consider was phlebotomist, and, you know, just so that we can try to adapt to the demand that it's out there,
In the
so.
industry.
Mhm.
One of the requirements was that you had to be affected by COVID. Is this still the same thing?
That's still the same thing, and that's by federal requirements. And affected can mean, you know, whether if their working hours were cut, or if
Or they got COVID?
they got, not necessarily, but if they got laid off, or if, you know, they can demonstrate that they haven't been able to find a job because since they were, there's many different ways on which Laredo College will be
By the impact of COVID.
screening the applications to make sure that we comply with.
And I'm sure that anybody having an interest in furthering what is it that they're doing right now should be good enough, right? I mean, if you want to go through one of these programs and you want to attend and you want to be a part of it, obviously you're trying to become something or do
Is the
something.
grant specific to vocational short-term certifications? Because I think at some point, the federal government would say the return needs to be quick. And so quick, you can't use a program like this at a university or
Correct.
any PhD program, you can't. Because that's a long-term, and the return investment is going to be long-term. These are for your vocation or your trades, which
Right.
most of your community colleges, for the most part, or your technical schools would
Certification.
probably have.
For a quick turnaround. And this program in particular also has the component of conducting 2 job fairs as well, just so that we can further, I guess, leverage on the funding that has been.
Has there been research done on, considering that all this funding source has been allocated to support our workforce development in our community, has there any research by the community college to see what are the subject or target entities of interest? I mean, to analyze clusters, what is it that we need to go after, investors that we need to go after, because that's the workforce we're developing?
At this point, the program that was put together was based on for a lack of a better term, the popularity on the programs that we have been offering in the past. And that's pretty much the data that we use to allocate, you know, number of registrations for program and whatnot. But to your point, that's something that we can definitely touch base with them and see how we can further conduct that type of analysis with other entities involved. You know, I would be interested
And are
in
they
learning from
working-
South Texas workforce as
So
well.
if they got a CDL or whatnot, are they really working there, or they just have a job, but it's not anything to do with it? And I know it's difficult to
It's
track.
difficult to track.
There's, if you implement it effectively today, then you can do a long term.
Mhm.
Again, it may be of a good return investment
Yeah.
for the city to know what development and what workforce preparedness is out there.
Right.
I mean, transportation, of course, you have it, but do we need more, again, medical? Do
Mhm.
we need more vocational projects, electricians, plumbers?
Right.
So I'm hearing more and more, there's a need of plumbers and electricians. I'm like, well, is anybody talking to the community
Yeah.
college in the city so we can develop programs that are
I think they had
your
removed the plumbing.
construction?
I think they had removed the plumbing at LLC and they're gonna put it back, something like that.
So that's good information to have, but just.
One of the programs that we also expressed an interest, and it seems like we will be adding it, it's the ABAC as well, you know.
Oh,
AC.
yes, I've heard that one. too.
Particularly, and even though, you know, it's a vocational and a certification program, you know, with all the cold storage facilities that are, you know, coming into Laredo, you know, that's one of the programs that we have also placed, we have put a lot of emphasis in, you know, trying to
Some trades that are.
have skilled, a skilled workforce in that area.
Any questions? Hopefully we see everybody on Tuesday.
Just a comment, well, just to, as a committee, appreciate the work that the city and the college is doing to invest in those positions that are needed in Laredo. I mean, there are positions that are needed, but there are skills that are lacking. So the fact that they're bridging these two together is a great opportunity for the citizens of Laredo to get involved.
Thank you for your comments.
Can we give the floor to Julian so we can hear what he has to say regarding the summit?
Oh,
This additional.
Motion to go back to it.
Motion.
Motion to open up action item.
Yes.
Motion?
Motion to approve to move the action item A.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr.
Okay.
Gonzalez. All in
Everyone's in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. So on discussion and possible action regarding the downtown summit, it's currently scheduled for mid-March 2024. We are working with the IDA, which is the International Downtown Association. They are they are the largest downtown association in the United States. They're going to be assisting us on doing some groundwork on figuring out what downtown Laredo can do to spur reinvestment, spur more traffic, all of these things. They're going to be coming down for 3 days. Right now, we're hoping that the date shall be, let me pull it up, March 20th. We're waiting to sign off with the IDA and confirm with them. But that is the current scheduled date. If anything changes, I'll let the committee know. It's also encompassing a day for the public, which would allow the possible discussion of what is going on with the business improvement district and what the downtown stakeholders and merchants are looking for when it comes to services from a business improvement district. It's also going to possibly include presentations from city, county, and other organizations like the Downtown TERS, Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone, that are basically going to give updates on not just current planned projects, but projects that are currently under construction and future planned projects. So that is the update that I have for that, unless anyone has any questions for me.
There was an observation a little while ago by Myra it's too short, but of a plan.
But I think, Julian, you said that you're working with International Downtown Association
Yes.
to help establish the programming for the summit?
Yes, we're working with the city of Laredo when it comes to the programming for the summit. The IDA is kind of like more of a cherry on top, which is going to come and assist with basically giving us a analysis from not just them finding out what current economic development policy that we have, but also talking to the private sector, the public sector, especially the private sector major stakeholders that are currently in the downtown, in order to determine like what is the best steps moving forward, what are their recommendations. Like I said, they work with pretty much every city in the United States, so that's just a part of it, but it is very much a major component because they will be of great assistance in giving us a plan to move forward with.
One of the comments that was, oh, go ahead, Ms. Alexander.
Yes, I learned how to raise my hand. I'm hoping that the presentation with the city of Laredo, they hired Joe Minicozy, and he did a pretty extensive study in Laredo, and he gave a presentation. I think I've seen him in Laredo 2 or 3 times, and I did try to get a copy of that presentation that he did, and I was unsuccessful. But I don't know if maybe any of the people at this table are able to figure out how to find the results. And I also was trying to find out which department used that data going forward, or if anybody has even looked at it. You know what I'm talking about, Joe Minicozy?
I can jump in and say I need to dig it back up again, but there was an entire presentation given to not just the city, but it was open to the public at LCC. I know it was video recorded. It should be on YouTube. I'll try to dig it up and send it to all of the committee, but I don't know what happened to the actual documented paperwork of what he found.
Well, I think that I saw Joe Nicosi at Laredo College and also at,
I mean,
was it, oh, wait, maybe it was Tammy. But, you know, he did provide a lot of data connected to what the rationale is for putting money into the revitalization of downtown. Actual projected and real data. And that's invaluable, you know, connected to any conversation about investing in downtown should reference that Joe Minicozy presentation and study that looked specifically at our downtown properties.
I found it, I'll share it with you.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. I'll share it with,
And do you see what,
was it the,
department, did anybody at the city even look at that? Or
it's posted.
does anyone, like, where does it live?
Well, it's posted in the City of Laredo governmental webpage, like Facebook page, and it's dated February.
Oh, okay. I saw that one, but it was the one that I saw online, I couldn't hear the quality of the presentation
I've seen this
was
video,
poor,
but there's
which I know because it's hard to do this, but I couldn't, so I was looking for the actual, like, written work behind that he gave. The written work, because that, the presentation that I could see online was, you can't hear him. And you can't really see the presentation because it's almost like someone videoed, it was like a cell phone, it looked like. Unless the one that you found is better. But I was looking for the actual report, the written report.
Well,
But
we'll try to get you.
yes, we'll try to get it and our staff will be on it.
Julian, we have a
Okay,
question,
thank
Julian. Julian, can you hear?
Yes,
The question was, is it open to the public or who is it target? This summit is target for?
the summit is open to the public, yes.
Thank you. That was the difference.
Okay. All the sessions, Julian, I was mentioning that some of the components were kind of like more of a workshop, roundtable, working.
I'm sorry, he asked specifically about the summit. Are you talking about the IDA?
Yes.
Okay.
I
so
think that was one of the
summit is
questions
open
that
to the
came up.
public. The IDA is going to participate in the summit, but the IDA is also using 2 of those days to go out and walk the downtown and get a tour of the downtown. And they're also using another one of those days to talk to major stakeholders in the public and private sector. So, yeah.
That's what, I briefly explained that and I mentioned before you logged in that the agenda and the program structure were kind of like finalizing it, but that there was
Yes.
gonna be a component of roundtable, workshop, discussions with targeted, I guess, associations and stakeholders as per the conversations that we're having.
Yeah, so when it comes to roundtables with the public stakeholders of the downtown, that would be regarding the Downtown Business Improvement District, not the IDA. The IDA will be participating more in a, and my brain is now blanking. God, guys, what is it called? When they're basically a panelist. They'll be part of a panelist system to answer questions for people and also give a presentation on their findings during the summit. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody has any more questions? Announcement, is that the next meeting?
Yes, unless there's any other further discussion, we can move over to announcements if anyone would like to make an
Our
announcement.
next meeting is scheduled for,
Yes, this is Alexander.
I just would like to let everyone know that there are some improvements coming to downtown, and they are connected to a valuable economic tool, which is the TERS. And TERS number 1 is connected to downtown. There are 2 TERS committees, groups in Laredo now, but the first one is about to break ground, hopefully before April in downtown. And the TERS actually has its own website if anybody is interested or would like to go and see the opportunities connected to what's going to happen in our city. That's all.
Mr. Alexander, can you email everyone a link to that TERS site so they can have access to it?
Yes, I could probably get that done, and I apologize, but it's going to have to be tomorrow. But do I have everyone's email? I mean, if you could, I'll just respond to our.
Yes.
To our meeting email?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm sorry? Did I hear someone ask a question? No? Does anyone else have any further announcements? If not, if I can hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I don't think you're.
Aye.
Adios.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You.
Se acabó.
Meeting's adjourned.